Fairfax channel viewers, thank you for joining us on the third day of our Mediterranean cruise. We docked at the port of Piraeus in Greece at 5:30 this morning. We're now on our way to the city of Athens, which is about 6.2 kilometers drive from the port. Before we get there, I'd like to tell you how Athens got its name. According to Greek mythology, Athens was a flourishing city and was unnamed at the time. So the gods contested for the patronage of the city. It was decided that the city would be named after the deity who gave the city the best gift. The king of the city, Cecrops, was appointed the judge. Two deities, Poseidon, the god of the sea, and Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, contested for this. Poseidon struck the ground with his trident, and salt water springs welled up, while Athena struck the ground with her spear, and an olive tree, a symbol of peace and prosperity, sprang up. The king and his people decided that Athena's gift was the better of the two and named the city after Athena. We are now on our way to the Panathenaic Stadium, the only stadium in the world that is entirely built of marble. Originally built in 144 AD, it was renovated in 1896 for the first modern Olympic Games. Over the years, with modernization of sports, this stadium became unsuitable. However, it is still used as the finishing point for Athens Marathon. Speaking of marathon, do you know the inspiration behind the marathon race and why the distance run is 26.2 miles? Well, legend has it that a runner messenger named Philippides ran 26 miles from the town of Marathon to Athens to announce the Greek victory over the Persians in the Battle of Marathon. Having delivered the message, Nike, Nini Kemen, meaning victory, victory, we have won, he collapsed and died. It is said that it is this Battle of Marathon and the 26-mile run by Philippides that inspired the modern marathon race. Before we leave to our next stop, here is a panoramic view of the stadium from the entrance. We are now driving to the next attraction, which is right in the heart of the city, the Greek Hellenic Parliament and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, to watch the Change of Guard ceremony. We've parked our car and we're walking towards the building. People have already gathered here to witness the event, which takes place every day at top of the hour. The building, which is now the Parliament House, was originally designed as a royal palace by the revered German architect Frederick von Gardner by the order of King Otto, the first foreign monarch of Greece. It served as a royal palace until 1929, when the government decided to move the Parliament House to this building. The building has two entrances. We are at the front entrance, outside which is the tomb of the unknown soldier, guarded by a special military unit of the Greek army called the F-Zones. You can now see the soldiers marching towards the building. The tomb was built in honor of all the unknown soldiers who died or bled for the country. It depicts a dead soldier lying down, holding a shield and wearing an ancient Greek helmet. The tomb is guarded 24/7 by soldiers working in pairs. The change of guard takes place at the top of every hour, as I mentioned earlier. Each soldier mounts guard for 1 hour at a time for 3 hours or more every 48 hours. During this 1 hour service, they are not allowed to speak, move, make any face or eye movement, or even show any expression. It is considered a great honor for a soldier to be selected to join the F-Zones. Since the guards have to be totally still throughout the 1 hour, there is one F-Zone in normal fatigues and police surveillance to ensure that they are not harassed during their duty. You're now witnessing the change of guards. We were lucky that we were on time. It's a great experience to watch this unique part of Greek culture. While to us it might seem outlandish, the uniform these guards wear has important historical roots. From Monday to Saturday, the F-Zones will be dressed in their khaki summer uniform or in their bluish-black winter uniform. You can see that the guards are in their winter uniform today, as it's a Saturday. Every Sunday, the guards will be dressed in their traditional white kilt. Today is Saturday, as I said, so they are not in their traditional outfit. The highly unusual shoes worn by the F-Zones are called zarouchia, and they weigh over 3 kilograms. The toe of the shoe is pointed upwards and covered by a black silk pom-pom, which is hand-cut to shape. I will tell you about the pom-pom a little later. The shoe features at least 60 nails in the base. It has been told that the noise made by the nails in the base of the shoe and the movement made by the guards simulate that of a horse in battle. The story goes that when King Otto moved from Bavaria to Greece, To take the throne, he could no longer hear the sounds that he loved, that of his horses. So he made the guards walk in this fashion to replicate the sound to make him feel closer to home. However, the Greeks believe that this stomp during this pace is done for a purpose, to let the dead, their ancestors, know that the Greek nation is alive and free. Speaking of stamping feet, remember I mentioned the pom-pom? These might look silly on a soldier's shoe, but apparently it symbolizes the tree of liberty. When worn by soldiers, inside the pom-pom, there is traditionally a small blade that symbolizes the kick that the soldier would give the enemy if he dares to threaten their liberty. The pom-pom also helps to protect the toes from snow and cold and make the shoe waterproof, in addition to serving as a handy place to hide a small knife useful for close combats. The F-zones take the role of guarding the tomb very seriously. Nothing will deter them from their positions. During a demonstration in front of the parliament in 2001, a Molotov cocktail was thrown at one of the guardhouses. The guardhouse was engulfed in flames, but the F-zone who stood next to it did not move. With partly smoking uniform, he stood there until an officer gave him order to move. Similarly, in January 2010, a makeshift bomb was placed 20 meters from where the F-zones guard the tomb of the unknown soldier. The police knew about it and informed the F-zones of the imminent threat, but the guards refused to leave their posts and remained on guard until the bomb exploded. Such is their dedication to their job. You can now see that the guards have switched and the new set of guards will be taking over. Do you notice their unique marching style? In addition to regular marching steps, there is the slow movement, high kicks of the legs and a forceful striking of the ground with the right foot. You will also notice that the entire ceremony is in slow motion. Apparently, this is to allow the blood circulation after 60 minutes of immobility. can now see that the guards have reached their positions and they will remain here for another hour until the next change of guards. I do hope you enjoyed the changing of guards as much as we did. We'll now move on to our next attraction, which is the Athenian Trilogy. We're now at the Athenian Trilogy. This is one of the attractions that you rarely hear the locals talk about. So what exactly is Athenian Trilogy? It is an example of a neoclassical architecture in Athens. What do I mean by neoclassical? Neoclassical refers to the artistic movement that sprouted in Europe during the 18th and 19th centuries. Gradually, this movement became very popular both throughout Europe and in Greece. The Athenians embraced this new trend and built this wonderful three-building complex which encompasses the University of Athens, the Academy, and the National Library. The impressive statues of Athena and Apollo stand guard at their facades. You'll have seen them now in the video. We'll start with the Academy of Athens, which is on the far right end of the Athenian Trilogy complex. It took less than 3 decades from 1859 to 1885 to build this building. It was built to resemble the propylaea of the Acropolis, which you will see in our next video. We move on to the next building, the University of Athens, or Panistismio, as the locals call it. It is this building that is in the middle of the three. It was the first to be built and thus gave its name to the street, Panistismio Street. This building was designed by Christian Hansen, who chose a simpler and more humble approach compared to the other two buildings on its side. Before the facade, in the two angles, you can see 2 large-scale statues, one of the patriarch Gregory V and another of the poet Rigas Ferreras. On the top of the external stairs stand the statue of the great Hellenist and patriot Adaminidos Koreas. And in the small garden, you can see the statue of England Gladstone. And this is very close to the pillar in memory of the young students who fell for the country. The fountain in the court is also worth seeing. And also the beautiful multicolored murals with classical themes. These were designed by the Bavarian K. Rahl, decorating the walls. Notice that Christian Hansen has given this building a H shape. The building nowadays is used as the institution's administrative office and also serves as a backdrop to the university's ceremonies and official events. You can now see the statues that I mentioned earlier. I'll also show you the lovely murals that I mentioned about. I can also show you a quick peep into the inside as much as we are allowed. So here you can see the inside of the building. Next, we move on to the library, which is on the left side of the University of Athens. It was constructed during the last decade of the 19th century to preserve Greece's intellectual heritage. Its building features a splendid blend of Doric elements and simple straight lines, and a beautifully Renaissance-style staircase that leads up to the entrance. The Library of Athens were built with a famous white pentalic marble, the same material that was used in the construction of the Parthenon, which you will be able to see in the video on the Acropolis. The statue that you see here is Panagos Valianos, a Greek benefactor who played a crucial role in financing the National Library of Athens. Until 2017, the National Library was responsible for safeguarding, preserving, and exhibiting over 2 million books, manuscripts, and periodicals. However, unfortunately, it is not open to visitors anymore. We're now in the hill of Lycabettus. The hill is about 227 meters high. A funicular can get you here, but we came by car. It's the second highest point of the Athenian basin, and from here you can see the stunning view of the city, the Acropolis, the Panathenaic Stadium, and the sea that surrounds this beautiful capital. There is a myth behind the creation of the Lycabettus hill. According to Greek mythology, Lycabettus was created when a rock fell from the hands of goddess Athena. Myth has it that during the reign of Kekropas, the goddess Athena went to the workshop of god Hephaestus to order weapons. The god fell in love with her, and Athena resisted strongly. The goddess took a handkerchief, wiped herself, and threw it on the ground. That handkerchief, however, had what was needed to produce the child of the two deities, Erechtheus. When Athena saw the baby, she enclosed it in a jar and gave it to the three daughters of Kekropas and ordered the girls never to open it. One day, however, the two of the girls disobeyed the goddess's order, opened the jar, and saw a serpent in form of a child. They were so frightened by what they saw that they slipped and fell off the Acropolis. At the same time, Athena was cutting rocks to fortify the Acropolis. When she was returning, holding a huge rock, a raven approached her and told her the news. Athena was shocked, and the rock fell from her hands. Thus rose Lycabettus. I'll leave you with this story, and I'll meet you at the Acropolis soon. Please don't forget to press the bell button and subscribe to our channel.